there's a lot of clicking going on. For those that want their chat to show up on the screen, make sure you jump into the YouTube demonstration. That's where I just put the link up for those who are in the TikTok side of the chat. Thank y'all for joining in because I have questions. Okay, I do. And sometimes when I have questions, people get upset with my questions. It's just questions. It's just questions. Okay. So we're going to turn this off. And we are going to turn this off. So I can figure out why Facebook is not working. We're not going to use Facebook. I don't even want it to mess up my bandwidth right now. Why don't I see the chat? I don't see none of y'all's chats in actual YouTube. This is crazy. But we are here. So let's get right to it, guys. Because this past couple of days, it's been a whole bunch of really weird, Hollyweird stuff. But before we get into the weirdness of Hollywood, let's make sure that you hit the like button. If you're not a subscriber, make sure you subscribe. If you're over on the TikTok side, just keep tapping. That's what you do. You just keep on tapping over there. Make sure I got good sound, my microphone on. There's my microphone. There's my microphone. All right. Shouts to Purple Groovy. Shouts to IMZ and my YouTube folks. Thank y'all for tuning in. And we are about to get kind of funky over here. Because there is a problem rising in the main streets here. Hold on. I got to change our episode number. Hold on. We're on 14 now. Give me a second. Sorry, I got to make sure the title is right. So when y'all come in here, y'all know what the hell we talking about. But yeah, there's been an interesting uprising recently in white on white crime. There's no other way I can put it. There's no other way I can say it. It is what it is, but there has been an uprising in this, and I think that people need to be aware. And maybe we need to talk about it. Maybe it's a thing that we can resolve somehow. I'm not sure, but I do know it's some bullshit and we need to purge it, okay? So apparently, I don't know where this damn clip came from. I don't know. They send me the stuff. I deal with it. But apparently this lady who was like 62 years old got into a scuffle with another lady who was not 62 years old, which is interesting. Because I didn't know that at 62 years old, you were still scuffling, but we're going to find out here. Make sure I got my, hey, if you're on the TikTok side, you see the link at the top of the conversation. That is the YouTube link. That will be, or should be, where your chats come in. But it's weird because I can't see the chats for some reason. I can see them, but they're not coming up on the screen. Oh, the last time that happened, I had to actually send one. So I'm going to actually send one. Let's see if it works. Always something wrong. All right, there goes mine. Let's see if it actually catches up. Nonetheless, let's get back to the lecture at hand. So apparently this woman got into a scuffle. I mean, there's no other way to put it, and this is exactly what we're going to be looking at, is because I have heard that this is now becoming a problem. Let's transition this over here. Oh, there's the text. White on white crime is rising. Sorry, guys. The text is on the wrong line for some reason. I don't know why. There we go. All right. Now we can bring it all over.
Motherfucker, you got pretty outfits and me
I thought this was AI at first.
Let her go and get a taste of this. Let her go and get a taste of this shit.
Let her go.
Who the fuck is you?
Get the fuck down.
Listen, mama.
Kids, let me tell you something.
Oh, what a fight!
Fuck that. Motherfucker. I will fuck you up. Motherfucker. Come on. That's enough.
Mr.
Motherfucker. Come on. Hey, guys.
Hold on a second.
Okay, we got you.
I missed how the fight started. I was looking at the chat. Shouts to everybody in the chat, by the way. So this old lady, she said something to this other lady. Then they get the scuffling about here.
Hey.
Okay.
Fuck that. Motherfucker. I will fuck you up.
Apparently, you don't outgrow being ignorant as shit.
That's enough.
Mr.
You don't.
Come on. Hey, guys. Help me here.
Okay, we got you.
The dude with the camera going boop, boop, boop. That's
Stop it. You motherfucker, you. Come on, fuck you.
they're probably related.
Stop.
That's probably what
That's
they're
enough.
probably
That's
related.
Come on, that's enough.
That's enough. Somebody drop the dollar.
You don't let me to fuck I'm 62, motherfucker, and I'll rock your ass. I'll rock you, bitch.
Hold on a second. Who does she look? She looked like the worst day ever. Like it just culminated into a person. She looks like the worst day ever. Look at that. Now, what are you doing at the spot at 62 when you coming out here guffing with people in the middle of the parking lot? Like, I'm just being honest, guys. Come on now. I'm not saying that there's no reason to fight at 62. I'm just saying there's no reason to be fighting at 62. All right?
Your ass. I'll rock you, bitch. Get her out of here. Get me the...
You 62?
You don't know, you better fucking ask somebody, bitch.
You 62?
Don't you open your motherfucking mouth. Stop.
Ain't nobody was running your mouth to you motherfucker.
Motherfucker.
Trying to be nice
I'm
to
a
you.
motherfucker.
I don't think they're properly using their cuss words either. I believe that there's probably alcohol involved in this problem. Most likely started it. And this lady, she looks like she's been through some things. So I probably wouldn't fight her. Just in a general sense, she may have special powers. She definitely looks like a witch doctor. I don't know any other way to describe this. But yeah, she don't look right. But nonetheless, here's the question. Should you be fighting people at 62 years old, like bar fighting people at over 60? I mean, we don't really know. We don't know what was said to her forehead that got her in such a bunch. We don't. But at 60 something, that list of things that get you doing all that is very short. Like somebody mess with your kids, grandkids, or something like that. Like, you know, steal some money, that kind of thing. But other than that, I don't see any reason at 62. I don't know. Like I said, when I get there, I'll let you know how I feel about 62. All right. Shouts once again to all of my folks over in the TikTok world. Appreciate y'all over there. Make sure y'all hit that link. Come on over here to YouTube real quick so I can see what y'all talking about over on TikTok. And if you're on the YouTube side, throw a chat in there now to make sure that it's coming up on the screen. That's what you need to do right now. Say hello one more time so that we know that you're still there. Because who knows what's going on with these live feeds these days? I have no idea. I just know I can't see all these other chats. I see one of them. All right. I don't know. I can see it on this, can't see it on the other thing. So nonetheless, back to the point at hand. At 62 years old, you should be focused on a little bit more than just hanging out at the bar and fighting with people. But I feel like these ladies were probably related, and whatever issue was going on probably stemmed from something that was happening at the house, and they went and got some drinks. Drinks got to flowing. People got upset. This gargoyle decided to swoop down and start flying off the handle. So, but here's the thing. Are you able to now, like, is she cool for fighting? You know, like is she spry? Are we condoning this behavior or what? Like, what's up? Because we've been condoning some crazy shit lately. So I'm just making sure 62 years old and bar fighting is not a... Why is this microphone keep changing? Let me see. I'm going to... Because this definitely supposed to be charged. Sorry, guys. I'm changing my microphone. Maybe it's working. It's on there. Well, it says it's on. So we'll see. I hope I sound good because I got nice mics. My man Bravo hooked me up with this like special microphone thing, and it's got some lavalier mics and all that. I got him brought the stops out for y'all. Can't figure out why you're not in the main chat here, but YouTube has been trying out this whole vertical plus live feature. So my guess is that y'all are on one or the other, and it's only showing one of them in the stream. I don't know, but for anybody else that's out there, if you're in like your late 50s and 60s and stuff, it's time to hang up the boxing gloves, okay? Unless you're Mike Tyson. Time to talk it out. Whatever your situation is at the bar, let's discuss. You see what I'm saying? Let's just discuss it. And that'll be the end of it. Because this lady, yeah, sure, she feels like she's invincible right now, but wait till she get home. Them hands gonna be hurting.
62?
Back gonna be hurting.
Yeah.
Good God almighty.
Motherfucker. Shit. Yeah. You fucking with the wrong one, honey. You know I ain't fucking with the wrong one. Motherfucker. This motherfucker all the way to go. Ain't nobody fighting you, motherfucker. Ain't nobody fighting your jail tits. Don't fuck with me, bitch.
Apparently this is going on too much in my Caucasian brethren and sistren. I'm gonna need y'all to get your peoples. Because this is going on. It's not just at the bars. You guys are fighting each other all over the place right now. And it gets dangerous. It gets dangerous. Some of y'all do dangerous stuff. And if you've got too many dangerous people in one area, next thing you know, they just all being dangerous. And y'all have seen the aftermath in the last couple of weeks. Y'all need to stop. Y'all need to calm it down. Okay? Because there is now a fear of white people, like, I don't want to say disappearing, but like not procreating at the same rate that they're passing away or being changed into other races, if you want to call it that. And so we need everybody so that we can all win. All right. So for all of the folks that don't know, like I said, white people numbers are coming down. So we're addressing that by saying we need y'all to stop fighting each other. Okay. So I know that that's normally a black on black problem. We're addressing that as well. But anybody who happens to be in that group, if you happen to come through this channel, I just want you to go back to the group and let them know, hey, calm it down a little bit. Okay. The numbers are messing up, and we can't have the numbers messing up, okay? So, nonetheless, shouts to Ascending Phoenix jumping into the chat there as well. And let me make sure I got my sound effects. Y'all, see, I almost forgot my gongs and my sound effects, man. Haven't seen y'all in a minute. Like I said, we've been trying some stuff. So right now, we floating. We on X, Twitch, and YouTube right now. This Facebook, Instagram thing has not been working lately, which is goofy to me because it's not a lot to it. You put the stupid keys in and you tell it go live. It's just not trying to talk. So I had it right when I had Facebook as the primary, but who wants Facebook as their primary broadcast thing? That's ridiculous. So nonetheless, I might have to go back to that, unfortunately, because it seems like nothing else works. But anyway, let's go on to our next purging situation. And let me make sure, where's my soundboard? Did it come up yet? Oh, that's not even the right one. There we go. This is the one I need. All right. So nonetheless, Thank you guys for coming through. Let me give y'all an applause real quick. Okay, so the caption that came to me was that there's a Hunger Game in Hollywood, but I don't believe that that is quite the Hollywood that we think it is. For anybody that's tuning in, let me see, where is my Code Rain Interact? Blah, blah. Boom, boom. But anyway, sorry, my Matrix code wasn't falling on me correctly. But nonetheless, this has got to be the most Florida shit I've ever heard in my life. Recently, as many of you may know, there was a wintry cold bomb cyclone super Magnus thingy or whatever that came out the sky. We're just talking about a weather pattern, all right? I'm just adding shit to it. But because of the quick drop in temperatures, they started warning Floridians against falling iguanas. I know, sounds crazy, right? Sounds crazy. But no, they really did in Hollywood, Florida. They came out, this, and Hollywood's close to, I want to say like Fort Lauderdale, that side of Florida. But that wasn't the only place that was doing this. But they did a whole news story that I thought, once again, was AI because it was so ridiculous. It was so ridiculous that it was a problem. But I want y'all to see this story. And if this ain't the most Florida shit I've ever seen, I don't know what is. So let's just check it out here. Where's my top? Hold on. All right, y'all can see it now.
Yes,
right?
This is Jessica. She is the iguana expert. She's picked up, she said, hundreds of pounds of iguanas this morning. This is crazy. I've honestly never seen anything like it. Jessica, tell us what is happening. Why are these iguanas frozen?
Right, of course, iguanas are cold-blooded animals, so as soon as it gets to freezing, we end up having iguanas fall out the trees here in South Florida.
Okay, and like I said, you
picked up. First of all, Jessica looks way too happy about this. Like, she is really excited about, look at her face. She is overly excited about these dying reptiles. Now, is the one that she's holding dead? I guess not. I don't know. I don't know if that's a thing. Like, apparently it was a whole situation where people were making iguana nuggets and shit like that. And I didn't know iguana nuggets was a thing, but everybody was outside capturing
animals, so as soon
iguana
as it gets to freezing,
fresh,
we end up having
right
iguanas fall out the trees here in South Florida.
Okay, and like I said, you've picked up hundreds of pounds worth just this morning. You told me you started at 4. What do you do with them after you pick up all of these all around the city?
Well, of course, we contact our Trinidadian friends and all the people that like to eat iguanas. So a lot of different cultures eat iguanas, and they eat the eggs, and they eat the legs, and they eat the tail. So this is easy snacks falling out the trees this morning.
Okay, and I know that you did tell me that before, and I was surprised because I said, is that inhumane? But tell us about the reasons why that's acceptable.
Right, so iguanas are an invasive species here in South Florida, just like the pythons, the parrots, and other animals that damage our native environment. And so we are not allowed to relocate these animals. Some people try to heat them up and let them back go. If you do that on your own property, that's your own choice. But FWC did allow for people to go to a place today. If you find frozen iguanas in your yard, you can look up on FWC's website and they'll tell you drop-off points where they will humanely put iguanas down and make sure that they don't suffer, but we also get them out of our environment and save South Florida.
Okay, and you've already found several in this park, but you told me after this spot you're headed to the beach. Why are there a lot on the beach, do you think?
Yes, so the last time it froze like this, I found the majority of my frozen iguanas out by the beach. I think that...
All right, right there, she messed up. She said my frozen iguanas, like they were just out there and they all belong to her. So, like I said, this lady she's a little too happy about it, which made me uncomfortable. But like I said, this is the most Florida thing I've ever heard. Like, there's people that literally were outside at 4 o'clock in the morning collecting frozen iguanas And like this lady said, she said she's going to sell them to people that eat that. I was unaware that iguanas were a delicacy in the Florida area.
That air coming off of the cold water is even colder for them, and the wind is stronger over there, so it knocks them out the trees. And we're expecting to find many more iguanas this morning out there, probably until about 11 a.m. when it starts to get warm enough for them to wake up and climb back up the trees.
Wake up.
And one last question. What is the heaviest and biggest iguana you have picked up today?
Today, this is probably the biggest boy we've gotten. He probably weighs around 10 pounds and it's probably around 5.5 feet long.
And you told me it's like picking up a bag of ice.
Oh yes, right now they are so cold. My hand
This
is
woman's
frozen right
crazy.
now holding him. And so they're like little bags of ice and they are so heavy. So like you said, we've gotten probably around 200 pounds of iguanas and probably around 75 to 80 iguanas total.
And this is crazy. I've been nervous even holding this one, and I did pick that one up just a couple of minutes ago. I thought they were going to wake up.
Yeah, they're not waking up yet. We had one moving slightly.
So they're still, okay. All right. I got to pause it here. All right. So they're still alive. But just a moment ago, the lady was talking about eating them. So you're going to eat them while they're still alive? Well, I mean, they're frozen, but they're still living. Apparently they thaw out and then everything's cool. So that whole pile of frozen iguanas, they're going to just wake up at a certain point in the day when it's warm enough. That doesn't make sense that you would be trying to eat them. They're still alive. They're just chilling. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, they're just chilling. And when they stop chilling, then they would apparently start moving around again. See, I'm not comfortable with this. This lady with the news lady is too comfortable holding something that could just wake up. Like that is seriously the most Florida shit I've ever heard in my life. And there's a lot of Florida stuff, but this is
run around and pick up iguanas like Easter eggs off the ground.
Seriously.
And for those that see a frozen iguana right outside their doorstep, what do you recommend they do one last time?
If you want to allow him to defrost, go ahead and move him to the sun and he'll get to defrost and go up the trees. But if you want to help the environment and remove him, you need to look up FWC's drop-off site and they'll be able to take care of him humanely for you.
Take care of him humanely means put him on a rotisserie. That's what that means. So they said if you want to allow him to wake up, you push him over into the sun and then eventually they will. But if you want to help the environment, you go on the website and they got recipes. You know what I'm saying? Recipes for iguana nuggets and iguana legs. You ever had frog legs? And don't they tell you it tastes like chicken? Well, apparently iguanas taste like chicken too. It was tough for me to even think that, but that's what they said. They said you can take the scales off, you can roll them up in some dough, and you can deep fry them right into some oil. And you can have some iguana nuggets. So, just saying. But the part that's funny to me is everybody knows they're still technically alive, but they're not really alive at that moment. They're just stuck. They're chilling. And if you feel so inclined, according to this lady and the governor of Florida, you can just go ahead and fry them up, or you can drop them off at the other spot that's probably connected to a restaurant where they fry them up. But apparently, at the end of the day, this is a delicacy, and people are very excited in Florida about their falling iguana problem. So what I found actually most interesting about this was that the news lady decided to go report on it. Like of all the things that were going on at any point in time within the last few days, this woman said, falling iguanas is the number one thing I'm focused on right now. And she went out there at the other lady was out there at 4 a.m, but obviously she went out there pretty early so she could get the scoop on falling iguanas. I don't know, guys. Anybody else? I see Chef Roasting Gag talk about fry them up. I don't know. I've never had a fried iguana before. I'm not really looking for fried reptiles, no fried snakes, alligators, shit like that. I'm cool on that. You know, like I got enough other proteins that I'm pretty satisfied with that I don't need you to start cooking up the reptiles. All right. king cobra on a platter. Like, nah, I'm good. But apparently in Florida, which I didn't know, I thought I knew a few things about Florida, but apparently in Florida, this is like manna from heaven falling down, and they just be cooking them up and serving them to each other. And it's probably why some of that other stuff happens in Florida. It's because they've been eating freaking iguana nuggets. I'll allow it today because, hey, I've never had an iguana nugget, and you know how they always say, don't knock it till you try it. I'm not planning on trying it, so I can't technically knock it. I'm just saying, it doesn't seem like something I want to indulge in. And personally, I don't want to have to be looking out for falling iguanas when I'm like, walking anywhere. That's an interesting danger. The lady said they weigh about 4 or 5 pounds. So you imagine that falling down on you from about 20 feet. That'll knock you the hell out. And imagine you laid out in the middle of the street. There's you in the street. There's a frozen iguana next to you. Nobody's going to know what happened. Well, I guess in Florida, they'll know what happened because they were like, oh my God, he got hit by the falling iguana. But that's a Florida thing. It's just Florida. That's a WTF moment. And everybody knows who's been on this channel, WTF stands for, well, that's Florida. Okay? So you guys have gotten your fill of falling iguanas. Okay, let's keep it moving. Yeah, that's crazy. Falling iguanas. Oh, hold on now. Hold on. What's this next one here? So, all right, guys. I guess we're about to start taking that turn into the question of the day, which is, did Hollyweird turn the Grammys into a Satan fest over the last few years? Like, if you think back on the Grammys from, let's say 20 years ago, was it more tame than it is now? I would venture to say yes, but there was always somebody that would like wear a meat dress or some crazy shit every year, or they'd have their butt cheeks out, or they'd be, the nipples coverings only, and you could see their whole body. Like, there's always something. I think Kanye took his wife over there looking like she didn't have nothing. You could see the cooter. That might have been the Grammys. I don't know. But over the years, it's gotten more and more dirty. It started with edgy. That was how you used to be able to describe it. It was very edgy. But then it got dirty. And then it got weird. And now it's just weird. So I had a question somebody asked me, because one of my favorite artists is Ceelo Green. And Ceelo Green showed up at the Grammys with his son, which is also cool. Dad, son, Grammys. But the way that they were particularly dressed, I had the question of when is the line between trendy and weird? And I'll show y'all what I'm talking about, okay? Let me show y'all what I'm talking about. So Ceelo comes in, he introduces his son. Now y'all see Ceelo right
clips,
here.
Man.
Wasn't it sick?
Yes,
Album is sick.
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, this is my young son.
Hello.
His Lake.
Nick?
Lake.
Lake.
Hold on. Let's see here. Let's see what we got here. So you see Ceelo, he's got the red eyeballs over here. Let's take it back so he's in the shot here.
Oh, this
Microphone keep having issues. Problem with my mic. I think I need to charge it up or something. Nope, it's on. All right, y'all can still hear me, right? They can still hear me, right? I hope so. It keeps telling me that the microphone went out and that y'all can't hear me, but I don't believe that to be true at this point. But nonetheless, there goes Ceelo on the side, got the red eyes, and he introduces his son.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, this is my young son.
Hello.
His Lake.
Nick?
Lake.
Lake. Lake, like Lake Erie? That is amazing. Okay, so where's the thought of saying we're
Thanks
gonna
for
name him Lake
sending.
Erie?
What do you think about it?
Honestly, I don't know. I guess it opens up just an air of mystery. It makes
Okay.
it seem like a little bit bigger than, just a human being.
Yeah,
you know?
you're a body.
A body of
I love it.
Absolutely.
I love
You gotta
it.
go with the flow.
Never
Sea
ending.
monsters,
What's underneath is
Loch Ness.
unknown.
Yeah.
All of that good stuff.
Yeah.
I can dig it. I can dig it. Listen, y'all have the time of your lives tonight. You gonna turn a couple corners at the end of the night?
I will.
Yeah.
I will. So I'll see you around.
All right. Because I already know the internet's going to have a problem with me saying some shit. So I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to be honest with you. I have a son who's roughly about the same age as Ceelo's son. Now, I say roughly because I don't know how old Ceelo's son is, but I'm assuming that considering my age, Ceelo's age thought of, his son is probably around the same age as my son. Mid-20s, late 20s maybe, right? I love my son. But I would never go out anywhere with him where I got red contact lenses on and he's dressed like Gene Simmons from Kiss. So as much as I want to just look at this as a father-son moment, I can't remove the weird. You see what I'm saying? It's still weird to me. Like, anyone who knows my son, if I asked him to dress like this for some event, he would tell me I'm freaking crazy. He would say, Dad, what's wrong with you? Do we need to take you to the hospital? Because that's stupid. So I just can't quite formulate when you're bringing this together with your son, how you come up with this. And that's why I feel like this whole thing might be some weird ass satanic ritual. Maybe Ceelo has to sacrifice a son. And the bigger question is, since we know this is Gene Simmons from Kiss makeup look, is this considered whiteface? Messed your head up with that one. Is it culturally appropriating another culture by him dressing as Gene Simmons from Kiss? I don't know, but it's still weird. That's all I'm going to say. It's still weird. And if we can't get past the weirdness thing, like, I'm really, hold on a second. I got to bring there we go, the Hunger Game in Hollywood. That was the last one. So this is Ceelo's son, Lake. I didn't know that Ceelo had a son named Lake. I'll assume Ceelo's got other children, but at least this one he brought with him to the Grammy. So maybe he was only able to do this because this kid was the one that was like cool with the weird dressing. And then he asked him, well, why'd you name him Lake? He was like, because he's more than just a body, which was Lake Erie. So obviously Ceelo making the song, I Think You're Crazy, he was really singing from the heart. You guys heard it. Every word of that song was Ceelo speaking from the heart. Ceelo is a little crazy. This ain't the first time Ceelo done worn some crazy stuff. But what I'm saying is he's obviously passing that on to the next generation, and we don't need a lot of weird shit going on for the next few years. Like if we could calm the weird shit down, I think that would be helpful. Because it's hard to pinpoint who's weird and violent and who's just weird. Like if Ceelo's son walked up to you somewhere, this guy looks like he's about 6 feet tall and he's dressed like this. We don't know if he's there to do a drag show or if he's there to take hostages. We don't know. So we got to cut down on the weird shit so that it makes it easier for us to understand who's actually there to do some real damage and who's just being weird. So Ceelo even said it. He was like, man, I don't know. It was interesting. That was an understatement, but that's what he said. He said the only reason why he put that stuff on and all this in front of you guys is because to him, it's interesting. So he put his child in it, his son, and literally.
I can dig it. Listen, y'all have the time of your lives tonight. You gonna turn a couple corners at the end of the night?
I will.
Yeah.
I will. So I'll see you around. Okay.
Ceelo might be gay, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that because most straight dudes don't wear red contact lenses with black mascara. So forgive me if my assumption is a little far. But I'm just saying he might just be like that. He might be that dude. And if he's that dude, you know, this is 2026. We're supposed to accept it and just let Ceelo be Ceelo. My problem is just I don't like that his son, he passed it right on to the next generation. And the weirdness, what do you mean? This thing is talking about it's not doing the thing. All right, look, I don't know what is going on today. This is driving me nuts. It's saying that my thing wasn't active enough. So y'all over on TikTok, I need y'all to be more active, apparently, according to this thing. You got to be more active. So tap the screen. And y'all on YouTube, everybody, hit the like button. I know it's a lot to look at, and you get caught into the show, and you forget that you all have a responsibility as well. But I'm just saying my first responsibility to my son is never to bring him out in public looking like this. I know Ceelo's rich, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to hear that shit. Everybody said, well, they got money, they can do whatever they want. No, they can't. I mean, they can, but that doesn't mean I don't get to call them weird. Just because you got money, I don't get to tell you that looks a little weird. And personally, if I saw you at a spot, I don't want to be at that spot. I feel like you're about to do something damaging, and I don't want to be that guy. So I'm just saying, gentlemen, especially gentlemen of the Negroid faction, your sons need you, okay? They don't necessarily need you to paint them up like Gene Simmons. But I'm sure in Ceelo's house, that's probably how they walk around in that joint. It's probably weird as hell at Ceelo's house. I'm sorry. There's probably some shit in the corner that you don't understand. Ceelo probably puts on different costumes depending on what time of day it is or something. And he be like, I gotta feel the evening sun on my skin. He's probably on some weird shit. So I get it. So I'm not talking to him. Ceelo, you have your fun, you do the thing. But the question was whether or not the Grammys had become some weird ass sacrificial satanic ritual. And I hate to say it, but these kind of images definitely support that argument. Because I'm not taking my son nowhere like that. That's all I'm saying. I'm not putting my son out there like that. My son would never put no shit like that on. Like, maybe if we were going to a Halloween party and somehow he decided to be Gene Simmons from Kiss, possibly. But the odds of that is like, you got better odds at winning the damn lottery than that happening with me and my son. And I would assume most people, most men who have sons, would probably not dress their sons up like that. Not as adults, maybe as a kid. I still don't understand it. Okay, so I'm going to just leave it alone. Because I know somebody's going to be, he's got money, he can do what he wants. Somebody lied to y'all. Just because you have money doesn't mean you get to do what you want. There are consequences. I will poke fun at you with disrespectfully. Okay? Thank you. So anyway, y'all get it. All I'm saying is, if it's not some weird ass satanic ritual, then why is it like this? Why did Jaden Smith have a freaking house on his head like a year ago? Like, what is all of this really about? What is the symbolism? It can't possibly just be fashion. There's no way that Jaden Smith was able to get into a car with a house on his head. That thing had to be in the trunk, meaning he had to get out, look normal, and then add that to not look normal. Same with Ceelo. Ceelo could have just wore the red with the Kango cap and would have just been cooling with his little necklace on. But no, let's put red contact lenses in and black mascara on as if you're not black enough. Just so somebody like myself will look at it and either say, ooh, I want that look, which definitely not me, or we're going to say, hey, that's weird. And to him, that's interesting. Being weird is interesting. And being interesting is weird. So, I don't know, man. I think I'm trying to be nice about it because I don't want to say something about like the rainbow community specifically. I don't know what Ceelo's situation is or his son's. I'm just saying that we could use some better images of grown black men than that. Okay? But like, put on a tux. What's wrong with just putting on a tux? Why can't we just put on a tux anymore? Just a nice tux with a tie. If you're feeling froggy, put a bow tie on. Make it one of the wood ones if you want to go that route. But I'm just saying, whatever happened to just general male fashion for straight men? I'm not going to follow that trend. I'm not going to paint my face white. I'm not going to put red contacts in my eye. I'm not doing none of that. So that trend doesn't work for me, because if I see it, I'm going to think it's weird. So I'm not going to be in the store looking for these items. I don't need a red fur coat. You see what I'm saying? So that's not trendy to me. That's weird. Anyway, I know somebody's over there like, I want that red fur coat. No, you don't. Don't come out here with that shit on. I will clown you too. You'll end up on the damn Purge the BS with your red fur coat on. Stop. There's no animal that's that color. Naturally. Unless you took a bunch of like woodpeckers or something and took all the little feathers off the woodpecker mohawks. Or something like that. The point is, it's not natural looking. It looks stupid. And they're trying to tell me that they're not creating these weird images that we're just accepting and we just move on. We got people with devil horns walking around. You know, Lady Gaga showed up in an egg. Like, she was in an egg with some half devil worship people carrying her with horns. Yes, these people had horns like somehow superimposed onto their skulls, but they were like baby horns. So it wasn't the full-blown situation. It was like they were just getting there. You know what I'm saying? They like fresh demons, I guess, if that's what it is. Yes, Lady Gaga. So I think y'all need to understand. Like, we want to put it off to the side and just say everybody's just trying to be interesting and trying to be trendy. But what are they really trying to get us to look at and think about and accept? You see what I'm saying? You got to be very careful about that. Like, they had another award. They had an award for Progressive R&B Album of the Year. I'm not going to talk about the speech or anything, but I didn't know what progressive R&B was, right? And apparently, it's just a modern R&B style that blends traditional soul and funk with experimental sounds. That just sounds like regular R&B then. So it's like a new R&B. I didn't even know that there was a new R&B. Somebody can help me with that. That'd be great. But the persons that they got winning the new R&B are flamboyant as hell. And it's like there was a time when dudes used to sing to the ladies. Remember Jodeci? Niggas had their pants down or hanging down, slouching. Was dudes. You know what I'm saying? But they was out there singing. You see what I'm saying? And then every once in a while, you get a little softy. You get your little Christopher Williams, I'll Be Sure type of guy with the curly hair and, you know, light-skinned dudes. But you had some singing men at one point. Now, they've always tried to put us in these weird-ass outfits, sequin suits and all this kind of weird shit over the years, and we seem to break out of it. We always seem to break out of it. But then somehow we get roped back into it. We broke out of it before when we got the baggy jeans. Then all of a sudden, everybody started wearing skinny jeans. That was the whole reason we got baggy jeans. We had skinny jeans already. We didn't need, what do you mean it's skinny jeans now? We got out of those with the baggy. And then y'all brought it back. And we supposed to just accept it. Well, I'm a grown-ass man. I'm not putting on no skinny-ass jeans. Not meant for me to do that. And then people say, well, you're not trendy like that because you don't wear skinny jeans. Well, you know what? I'm not trendy like that. And I got just saying from a male perspective, I got a big ass, okay? And I can't imagine myself trying to jump around like a woman does when she's trying to fit her ass in some smaller than small pants. On the bed trying to pull the legs back and all that. No, I'm a grown-ass man. When I have on a pair of pants, I need a belt. Because if not, they will fall. because they're big enough to fit my ass. Anyway, y'all don't get it. Y'all don't get it. A lot of people don't get it. There's nothing wrong with being a regular ass man, you know, but they make it like you gotta wear freaking red furs and skinny ass jeans and have your ass hanging halfway out your pants. That's not manly to me. That's sloppy to me. I know the kids are gonna be offended. Well, I won't hire them. So there you go. That's why they don't have no job. You know what I'm saying? That we all learned at some point. I had dreadlocks and all types of braids and shit at some point. Then I said, you know what? I'm not that dude. I'm not the young version of myself anymore. Time to grow up. So Hollywood stars don't seem to grow up. They just get money and then they just try to outdo themselves every year. So however wild they were the year before, they're going to try to outwild themselves now. That's why Lady Gaga had to show up in a freaking egg. She didn't have a meat dress on. I think she was covered in blood one year. Like every year, this woman just goes nuts. Her and Satan are like this. I guarantee it. And people can say, no, Lady Gaga's got powerful music. Well, she's got some powerful friends that worship Satan. Okay? So nonetheless, let's keep this going. Because y'all not going to tell me it's not some type of weird sacrificial ritual. You just not. Not at this point. I've seen too many different angles of people doing stuff that goes against the moral standards of most of us. I saw a woman with a dress on that looked like the dress was attached to her nipples. Now, granted, as a straight man, I continued to look because I needed to be sure of what I was looking at. But the point I'm trying to make is this is like network TV. Somebody will see that. That's going to be on Entertainment Tonight. You know what I'm saying? It'll be on People magazine the next day when they do their little online stuff. And you're going to see these pictures everywhere. They're going to call it PG level, but you're looking at what looks like a butt naked woman. How's that PG? Anyway, I know. I get it. So apparently my take on the Grammys might be a little bit too stringent because people are not used to me being the asshole. But I'm going to tell you right now, that whole situation and a lot of the stuff that goes on there is a ritual to bring people into something that I don't understand. It's bigger than me, but I know when I'm looking at it and I see some of the things that are going on and some of the people that are getting nominated, and I start feeling like this is a group of people that would make me uncomfortable if I was there. You see what I'm saying? So, because I can't be as honest as others, because people are soft and they like to hear something, I'm going to situation. And we're going to have a quick discussion about it because I know that y'all don't like the person I'm about to present, which is perfect. Because then he can say the things that I would love to say that I can't say because y'all are too damn sensitive anyway. But if you're not too sensitive, make sure you hit that damn like button and you can come back over here and we can chill out. Sending, you know what it is. They've been trying to chip away at the male, at straight men. That's why whenever you get to these things, they always exalt the dude that's super flamboyant. They always do that. There was a time when it was like about men. You know what I'm saying? Like when Denzel was younger and he was up there, get your damn hands off of me. You know, that kind of stuff. Like he was powerful shit that they would, remember the Titans type of time. Coach Carter when Samuel L. Jackson. Like Samuel L. Jackson used to be like a dude's dude. Now he's always sitting with his damn legs crossed all the time. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. Anyway, once he came out with Shaft, I believe that someone shafted him. And that was when things changed, when Samuel L. Jackson started being kind of soft to me. And now he doesn't even like to just own his blackness. He's like, I'm not really black. I'm an entertainer. Entertainment is not a color, bro. Sorry. Anyway, let's get this thing over here because I'm being too mean for YouTube and TikTok at the same time. They've already told me that I'm speaking about sensitive topics, whatever the hell that means. So let's keep it going here. Y'all know who this guy is. This is Andrew the Tate, and he had an interesting take on the Grammys, and I wanted you guys to hear it.
So it was the Grammys yesterday. Might have to cut because I'm looking for a fuck to give, and it seems I don't have any. Doesn't this feel inorganic to you, how hard they try to make you care about the Grammys, and you just don't care? You're a normal person going throughout your normal life, and they're shouting from the rooftops, "Hey, the Grammys! Did you hear? Trevor Noah's gay!" So no one gives a shit. Why are they trying to make us care about this shit? They're trying to make us care because the people at the Grammys have sold their souls. That's why. They are the Matrix. They are the propaganda arm. They are the devil worshippers. They're the bad ones. So they need us to idolize them so they can control us. That's why they try very hard to make you care about the thing you don't care about, called the fucking Grammys. Nobody gives a shit. Even worse, most of the people at this Grammy Award show, I have no idea who the fuck they even are. These celebrities exist inside of this Matrix bubble, and they have the Matrix around them, and everyone props them up so they think they're famous. But out here in the real world, nobody even fucking knows these people. If you were to scan the Grammy crowd and say, "Who can you name?" I'd be like, "Beyonce, yeah, I know Beyonce is, yeah. Jay-Z, okay, yeah."
Oddly enough, Beyonce and Jay-Z were not at the Grammys, which that was weird to me because they normally are there, even if just to say that Beyonce deserved a Grammy. Like, that was weird. And then all of a sudden people were like, Jay-Z's in the Epstein file. Oh, God.
Oh, the guy with the castle on his head? Most of these people are basically unknowns at this point. That's how far the traditional celebrity has fallen from grace. I'm more famous than all of them. And who am I? A kickboxer who told the truth. And I'm more famous than all of them now. You know, I used to sit and think, back before I was globally renowned, I used to think, why are all these famous people fucking weirdos? There must be something that happens along the way, along your path to being globally recognized and massively financially capable, that turns you into a fucking weirdo. And I always used to wonder, Andrew, if you ever became world famous and filthy rich, would you start standing on stage like Lady Gaga screaming about trannies, how badly we need trannies? Or the other people who were screaming about how badly we need trannies? Is that something that you'd end up doing? Is there something that happens along the way? But it turns out, no, there isn't. Because I become super famous and super rich. And I'm as base as I ever was. I'm still racist. I still make the same jokes I'm not supposed to make. I'm just a poor guy with lots of money. But all of these people seem to have changed along the way. And the reason for that is because they were offered something. And the reason I know that is because I was offered the exact same thing.
All right, hold on. Before I get into what he's talking about, he said something was offered to him. Y'all do know what that means, right? They wanted his booty. I know a lot of people don't want to be honest about that, but that seems to be the goal and the bullseye target that they want to hit is your butt. And someone asked me about that and said, well, why would they want to do that? And I said, well, for a man, that's like the ultimate power trip, is doing that to somebody. Now, I'm not one of them, is what I'm saying, but I understand how demeaning that is to a man. It would take your soul. It would take all of your manliness, your manhood, and then that person has a secret that they can tell anybody they took your butt. So they used to call it butt breaking. Back in the day, they used to do that. They used to take black men and sodomize them in front of the other slaves, strong ones, the strong black men, so that the other slaves would stay in line. They're like, well, if they can do that to him, they can do that to us. So butt breaking has been a term and a practice since way before entertainment and the Grammys. But I think that it went into that. That's why everybody starts talking about when they make certain people wear a dress and all that. I heard Bad Bunny is supposed to be coming to the Super Bowl in a dress. So who called him? You see what I'm saying? Why does everybody have to get in a damn dress? What is that about? I'm not comfortable being in a dress. Why would, if they brought me a dress, why would I be comfortable putting it on if I'm not comfortable being in a dress? And if I'm comfortable being in a dress, I'm probably a little weird. And I know somebody's going to say, no, that's perfectly normal for a man to wear women's clothes. No, it's not. Just be honest. You can do it. You got a right to. But don't come at me like I'm just bringing this out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Let's be honest. It's weird. So anyway, we'll give Tate 2 more minutes. And I understand Andrew Tate is not the voice of reason and morals for the entire universe. The point he's making about the Grammys is a good point, and that's why I'm letting him talk about it. If you watch enough Tate, he will go off the rails, and you have to be like, you kind of on yourself, you're on your own over there. But in this one, because I know Andrew Tate was definitely famous enough that somebody would have came and tried to give him the offer. You see what I'm saying? So he may be outside of said matrix at this point, but you can't tell me that his voice wasn't large enough that those certain groups would at least take a shot. So I don't think he's lying. I think he was offered something. He was offered, he had to offer up his butt, and he wasn't trying to do it. And that's why he's been attacked and so on and so forth.
I'm just a poor guy with lots of money. But all of these people seem to have changed along the way. And the reason for that is because they were offered something. And the reason I know that is because I was offered the exact same thing. I'm one of the few people who exist on the internet today who was offered the exact offer. It was given to me in black and white to sell my soul and to change teams, and I declined. When I was the most Googled man in the world 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, when I had massive global notoriety, they came to me with a sponsorship contract. They offered me sponsorship in exchange for me to change my opinions. If I would have taken that sponsorship, I'd be at the Grammys. And guess what? I'd be pro-tranny too. And I'd be rich. And I never would have gone to jail. And the media wouldn't hate me. They offered me to sell my soul. And I said no. I actually think we're overlooking the role celebrities play in all of this. We talk about the politicians. We talk about DEI. We talk about USAID. We talk about NGOs. We talk about social media companies. We talk about the MSM. But we don't often talk enough about the fact that these celebrities have one objective. And their objective is to corrupt society. They need to be taken down. But often, the easiest way to take something down is to replace it. You can't leave a void, because voids get filled. There's no such thing as a power vacuum in this world. There will be an occupying force for all things. If every country on the planet abandoned a piece of land, eventually that piece of land would be swallowed up by another country or become its own country. The reason I did so much damage to the Matrix is because I became the superhero of the young men. I became the celebrity they liked. I replaced the little faggot celebrities they had before. Me. And I'm doing a pretty good job. But we need to replace all these clowns. I mean, could I replace them all by myself? I mean, all of them by themselves and all their combined talents. Could I really do it all by myself? Probably.
He is so
I'm way more funny than
smug.
those people. Give the people the Grammys and get them all to tell you a joke one by one. Even the comedian ones. I'm Trevor Noah and America's racist. That's why I'm doing the Grammys and I'm rich, because it's racist. It's fucking gay, bro. It's all gay. I'm much funnier and more talented than these people.
The funny part is, he is a little funnier than a lot of those people. But it's really because he's just super duper smug. And at the end of the day, he's just like any of the others. He just don't care because he got money. He can say what he wants to say. He got money. He went to jail, came back out, and he's still talking. Obviously, there was some money involved. So, but the main thing I want you to understand is, at this point, no, Andrew Tate did not go to the Grammys. And he's saying to us that he was offered, somebody offered to take his booty. He didn't want to say it like that, but that's what it is. Somebody offered to plug the Tate, and Tate was like, hell no. And they said, okay, well, we will castrate your career. And they did their best. And fortunately, for him, he's still walking the streets and still on this side of the green grass. Because I've heard some stories where you say no to that deal and that's it. You don't get to live anymore. So for Andrew Tate on one thing, which is the fact that he was, he's at least being honest. He didn't say it honestly like I wanted him to. Tell us. Somebody asked for that booty, Mr. Tate, and you said no. And just like Cat Williams said no. So you notice the people that said no, they always going to be on the outside. But if you accept then now you part of the in crowd. And there is no pun intended on the term in, but you part of the in crowd because you've been penetrated by somebody. And that's like the initiation to get into this club. So for Andrew Tate, like I said, he's not the, spokesperson for the world. But I do believe that he's at least honest in this clip regarding the fact that he was approached by some folks who basically told him to sell his soul. See, we say sell your soul, but for a guy that's a masculine man, opening up and bending over is selling your soul, because that's not who you are. Now you've let this person take your strength. So you sold your soul. And they promise everything else in the world. So I don't know. Like I said, for Tate, I know he's going through his own thing, but I wanted him to say it because every time I say something, I get a damn email about talking about protected groups and shit. So I don't have the patience for that, especially not tonight. So for Andrew Tate, you get the applause. Yep. I'm going to let Tate get the applause for the night there. Well, what's this next one? Oh, okay. We get to go elsewhere for a second and come back in. I'll take it. Because that's a tough one. Like I said, a lot of people, they love all that wild, weird shit that people be wearing at the Grammys and all that. And I just think something ain't right about that for me. I don't like seeing grown-ass men in dresses and shit like that. That is not what I'm looking for. I don't like seeing a grown man with a long wig trying to talk like a woman. It's not impressive to me. So when I see a lot of that in a space, I can see I might not be that comfortable in that space because people be doing too much. You know what I'm saying? They be doing too much. So anyway. Where's my life cam? Here we go. What we got next? All right, so here's a quick question for you guys, okay? Let's say you're going to a restaurant, right? And the food is okay. It's okay. It's not nothing special, but it's not messed up, right? Food's not messed up. The service is okay. Not exceptional, just regular, good service, like regular, decent service, And then they bring you a bill that says you have to pay 25% gratuity because it was after 6 p.m. Most times when that happens, people feel a certain type of way because the tip is supposed to be for exemplary service. I shouldn't have to tip your folks because you don't pay them well enough per hour that they're chasing me down the street because I didn't leave them an extra $2 on that tip that I left them. And a lot of people have argued with me about this in the whole tipping culture. I'm a tipper, but I don't be tipping because it's very rare that I get the kind of service that really deserves that. Most times, I get a halfway in, halfway out server who just brings some food and some drinks over there. Doesn't even come back to check if I need a refill. Doesn't make sure I got steak sauce with my steak. That kind of shit. And so, me personally, I tip the way I tip. I tip, but all that 25% no. If you earn 25% of a tip out of me, number one is because I'm not eating that much. So let's say I'm just eating a salad, you know what I'm saying? Or just like a burger or something like that. That's number one. So the bill itself isn't that much. And then number two, you had to be awesome. You understand what I'm saying? Awesome at your job. They had to meet me at the door when I came in, seat me immediately, or have my reservation 100% available. The service had to be exemplary, not forgetting nothing on the damn plate. Not forgetting my silverware when you bring me the food, all of that, okay? But in this case, this clip is really interesting. Apparently this woman locked somebody in her car for not tipping her. So I didn't know that Uber was getting down like this, but it's rough out here. It is rough out here. So if you think you need to actually lock somebody in your car in order to get a tip, it's really rougher for you. And honestly, if that's what it is, you probably deserve that. You probably need that tip. So let's see what this one is about. This is some Indian Uber driver who locked somebody in her car. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got here. All right. Indian Uber driver, UK. Here we go. Let's see what we got.
You just open the door, please.
No, tips, please.
No, I don't want to tip you.
Tips, please.
Just open the door.
No, this is a rule here in this country. You have to give me the tips.
No, it's not. I've never given any other Uber driver a tip. Look, I need to get out.
I don't care. I need tips because I give you that service. I drive from a long distance.
Well, it's not really been the best service. This car is a mess. And you're asking for a tip despite the fact of the mess.
Mrs. here, not there. You are okay. Your seat is clean. Here, don't look at it. Give me the tips, get it out.
Can't you just let me out? I have paid for this service.
No, you paid the service. Okay, you paid whatever. That will go to that company. I need tips for myself. Okay?
I've paid for the ride.
I need tips. That is the rule. Do you understand?
She said, I need tips. That is the rule. Do you understand? You're not getting out of here without tipping up. Now, let me just say this. I am a little bit too paranoid to have this kind of conversation with a person who's sitting directly behind me because it leaves you vulnerable. It does leave you vulnerable to getting choked out. And I'm not saying I'm worried for this lady because she's kind of being a biatch right now, but that's probably what I would do. She kidnapped me, officer, so I put her in a chokehold until she passed out. And then I called y'all. That would be the story you would hear if this was me. Just saying.
Not understanding what I'm saying.
I have understood that you want a tip.
Yes.
But tips are optional. You don't
I
ask
know.
for
Who
them.
says it's optional? It's a mandatory in this country. You don't know the rules. You people are really, it's a problem. If you want taxi, you want a car ride, and you don't know the rule at all.
I have never ever paid for tips ever in my life.
I don't care.
I am here. I can see the building. People are waiting for me inside. Just let me out the car.
No.
This door will not open. I will break the window.
No way. I'll call the police. No way.
I will call the police because the fact that you're not
because the rule is here. Police don't support you. Police don't support me. Do you understand?
You are holding me hostage in this car.
I am not holding. I am saying politely, madam, can you give me the tip? This is the rule of this country. Don't break the rule. Understand?
All right. So she said it's the rule of the country. I don't know if she knows the law. I don't even know what the law is. This is in the UK. So over here, when you have an Uber driver, you pay from the app. It'll ask you if you want a tip. You can tip. And you give a review. And that's the end of it. That's it and that's all. All of this locking people in the car, yeah, you can only do that in the UK. You try to lock a black man or black woman or anybody really that's got some bolas in a car, they're going to choke the living shit out of you and then call the police once you passed out. That's what I would do. So I was just wondering if the conflict ever gets to a point where they agree. I did notice that the windshield on this car is super wet, meaning it's raining outside. So you made this lady drive in the rain, and she obviously is driving a Benz because there's a Benz insignia on the steering wheel. So you made her drive her Benz out there in the rain and you don't want to give her a tip. And she's feeling a certain type of way about that. Now, she can feel that way. But me, if I'm the passenger, like I said, I got two options. Either I'm choking you out or I'm going to break the window. And we can talk about this when I get outside the car. Talk about it's the rule of the country. I ain't never heard of no country that has a legislative rule in the Constitution about tipping. Nowhere. It's a practice. something you do to be nice. But when I was younger, I used to be a server, and the tips were procured by being a good server, by taking care of people, smile on your face, speaking to them, trying to relate to them, making sure that their food is straight, making sure they got their condiments if they need them, making sure they got their silverware and they got their refills when they finish drinking their sodas. There's a method to it. And if people aren't following the method, that's their fault. But the problem we have as United States citizens is or any other citizens, because this is obviously in the UK, but it's like we feel like we just earn shit by being alive there. Like existing in a space, I'm supposed to get a tip because I exist here. When you came into this business, I existed within the business, and because of that, you owe me an extra 10% for the experience of encountering me. That's a bold statement. If you think you are that good at your job that you better get something. No, that's the problem. That's the problem. You entitled, and then when you don't get, you crash the hell out. Like this lady, she could be locked up for unlawful detainment, like detaining somebody against their will. That's kidnapping. She's right. So
yes,
we'll let
but
it
you
finish.
never explained that when I ordered the Uber.
No, I know you know it already. Okay, fine. I said last time, give the tips. Otherwise, just sit there and sleep. Okay?
No, because I need to be in this place. I have people waiting for me inside.
People are waiting for me also. You know that I'll go somewhere else. I have to pick up somewhere, but I'm not doing also. I can't do that because of you. Why don't you understand?
Well, I'm pretty sure you are losing more money by waiting here or asking for me to give you a tip.
I need tips. That's the rule. You need to pay. Then I'll allow you.
Okay, look, I need you to let me out of this car right now, okay?
No, I am not going to let out bastard. Stop, stick here, pay the tips, go.
No, you are not listening to me.
Tell
I
you
need
what,
you to
the chick in the back is big. I don't know why she playing with her. The one in the back looked like the Undertaker's little sister. And this little Indian lady is not having it, and she's not even turning all the way around. I would have choked her out 2 minutes ago. This would have been a 30-second video. And then the last part of the video would have been me calling the police myself to tell them what happened. Look, this lady locked me in her car. I'm not good with closed spaces. And I choked her little ass out. And she was like, stop, please. And I didn't stop. So, officer, I had to call you. She's still alive. She's breathing, but she's not conscious. Nonetheless, and here's the thing. At this point, what kind of tip you think you're going to get? That you locked somebody in the car. I'm not going to give you a lot if I give you anything.
No, just sit there quietly. Shh.
No, I'm not taking this.
No,
I'm not taking this.
If you break, I'll call the police. Don't make a mess, okay? Sit here. Stop. Shh. Calm down.
I
Give the
cannot
tips
believe you
and
right
go
now.
gently. No, don't create the scene. Please.
No, I need to get out of this car.
I said don't create the scene.
I do
Just
not care.
sit there.
You're the one creating the scene, not me.
I'm asking. It's a rule. Give me the tips, then I'll allow you. No problem.
No, please. The door's not opening.
Oh.
You know, I feel a certain type of way. I really do, because I understand you want your tips and all that, but Cindy Phoenix over here talking about pull a person into the back seat. Now we're going to sit next to each other and discuss this. So that's what you would do? You would just yank the lady's hair and pull her into the back seat? See, you're savage. I would be more humane by cutting off the air flow from the back so that she could sleep well. And when she awakes, I'll be gone, along with she wouldn't have got that tip, and any cash money that was sitting in the vehicle is now mine. Sorry. And she had a dirty car anyway. She was probably going to get a 3-star review. So she was very upset. She came out in the rain in her little Benz. It looks like every light available is on this dash right now. She got the gas light on. She got the brake light on. There's low antifreeze light on. She got all the lights on. So she needs this tip. That's why I'm saying, if anybody goes this hard, it's because they really do need it. And I firmly believe that this Indian lady, she put her neck on the line. She really did. Because this woman could have said, this person kidnapped me and kept me in their car, and this Indian lady will go to jail, and this nice little Benz truck will get impounded. So she took a chance. That's all I'm saying. But me personally, you're not getting the tip out of me. I would have choked you out from the back seat. I'd have parked your vehicle and rolled all the windows down. So all of the water from the rain will come in your car. You don't get to give nobody else a ride today. I'm petty like that. Okay? I'm petty like that. I don't care. I will choke you out, and then I will park your vehicle and roll all windows down and open the sunroof in the middle of a rainstorm just so you get all of that dirty ass water in your vehicle. You can't drive nobody around now. You got to get the whole situation detailed when I'm done. Because contrary to popular belief, a tip is just that. It's extra. It's a tip. You are not entitled to my tip money. Now, that goes for any establishment, restaurants, Ubers, strip clubs. You know what I'm saying? If you were a stripper and you want a tip, do something that the other strippers aren't doing. You know what I'm saying? You get a tip that way. If not, I'm not saying I'm gonna choke you out like I would this lady. I'm just saying the strip club tip is different. You gotta work for that. You know, but are we panhandling here? You're just standing at the end of the corner, and because I pulled up and you're out here, I owe you money for stopping here? No. Same thing with the tip on an Uber driver. You get your money. If I decide to tip, that is my decision and my decision only. So in total, there's way too much entitlement going on. You haven't earned a tip because you haven't given exemplary service. I paid for a car to go from A to B. If that's what your car did, you don't get a tip. You get a tip when you got waters and shit in the Uber. You get a tip when you got candy. You get a tip when you got a movie playing. If you got a minivan or something like that, that's how you get a tip. Just showing up and getting me to where I was going, you get no tip. All right? So stop. Stop. Get some help. All right? Anyway, we're getting to our last one here. Aren't we on the last one? We should be on the last one. Almost on the last one. All right, so that's too long. I'm going to go this route first. All right, so some of you guys may have heard of a young lady named Shacarri Richardson. She's a track star, super fast young lady who can't seem to super fast get her ass out of trouble. It's every couple of months she has been in trouble. The other team members of hers on the U.S. Olympic team had made some mention of her having issues with discipline and authority. And it seems like they may be right, because just the other day, Shacarri Richardson got arrested for driving too damn fast. And yes, we are going to once again have to take you to the wonderful land of Florida for this story. Let's see what we got. Okay. Oh, this is the body cam. Okay, cool. I thought it was a camera of her like speeding, because she's really fast. So the only way you're gonna catch her is if she's in a car. If she's running, you ain't catching her on foot. That's a quick little one. But nonetheless, let's see what we got over here. Let's see what we got. And then we're gonna finish it up. So we got Shacarri Richardson. No, I'm telling you right now, that little one is fast. I'm not going to say any bad word about her, like, in that regard. She is quick as hell, and I wish her the best, because she apparently came from a pretty messed up background. You know that whole story. Either her mama was a crackhead, something, one of them. And So I wish her the best because she seems like, to a degree, she seems like a regular chick. But because she is a track star, she's exalted to these heights that it seems like she can't seem to handle. Because every couple of months, they pop her into my feed and she done got in trouble. So in this one, let's see what happens when Shacarri Richardson comes speeding through Orange County in Florida and gets one of those deputy sheriffs on her ass. Let's see what we got here. And honestly, some dudes like these little troublemaker women. You know, they're kind of feisty because she's small, so she probably yells all the time. She ain't that strong. She fast. That doesn't mean that she can bench press an elephant, but she quick. So she probably swings on dudes all the time. It don't really hurt. It's kind of cute. It's like, girl, stop. Stop. You put them in a little hug. Stop, girl. Stop. Stop that. But nonetheless, so she's in her Aston Martin truck and gets pulled over. Let's see what happens.
I would wipe that smile off your face. I'm Sergeant McDaniels with the Orange County Sheriff's Office. You're being stopped for dangerous excessive speeding.
I understand my tire at the back is like literally on 29.
So you're driving at 100. Hold on. You're driving at 104 miles an hour in a 65 mile an hour zone with subpar equipment, flashing people to get out of your lights, out of your lane. Following too close, using every lane to pass everybody, cutting me off, passing a car on the inside shoulder with their hazard lights on. You're going to jail for dangerous excessive speeding.
You're going to jail. There's no way out of this. All the things I just said, you're going to jail.
That's why they give you a speedometer.
I totally understand. I communicate with you, sir. I really do not want to go to jail.
No, most people don't, but you got to think about that before you do the speed. I need your license, your registration, and your insurance. You were speeding.
Sir, I was, and I totally didn't know. If you look at my phone, my buttons right here, they jump around. My phone is sitting here, and it's slid on here. I literally see it's not even in normal mode, and I see that my apologies.
Okay, wait a second. So your excuse, Miss Richardson, is that your cell phone somehow changed the vehicle into sport mode, and because of that, you were doing 100-something miles per hour. Okay, all right. I'm just making sure that's what she said. I didn't say it. That's what she said. She said her cell phone was there, hit the button, and she didn't know what mode the car was in.
The mode has nothing to do with your gas pedal.
No.
I need your license, your registration, and your insurance.
Please, sir, I really want to work. Can you really work with me, sir? I promise you, I am a law-abiding citizen.
She said, I promise you, I am a law-abiding citizen. I would say that right now that is not a true statement, ma'am. You just was doing a buck something coming past this deputy. And apparently you were flashing people to get out your way. And you were using the shoulder to pass people. Like, you did everything wrong. So you're not a law-abiding citizen. You just lied to this officer, and we're not going to allow you to just be lying to the officer like that. You got caught. You got caught. But what's funny is, ladies, okay, I'm going to be honest with you. All of this, dudes can't do all of that. She's moving around the vehicle. I'm sure the officer probably knows who she is when he saw her. He might not. I don't know. He might not watch track at all. He might have no idea who she is. But he seems very relaxed. As you can see, his hands are together, not on a weapon, anything like that. So he's not even at the point of thinking that he's threatened by this young lady. But if she was a big black dude in that driving seat, I don't think he would be so relaxed. I think that he's doing that because he feels like this small woman is not a threat. And he's probably right. But I'm just saying, people be on edge so much because they perceive a threat. So if you perceive something as a threat, a lot of times movement becomes threatening. So if a guy reaches over to his glove compartment, if you think he's a threat, then you thinking he got a gun and now you're shooting at him and he's just trying to give you his insurance and registration. So nonetheless, let's let her finish up what she's saying here. But what they don't know is that in Florida, as of the 1st of this year, if you're going over 100 on the highway, which will allow you 90, they'll let you do 90 all day, which is wild. But they'll let you do 90 all day. Once you get over 100, they got to take you to jail. That's the new rule. That's the new law. Shacarri Richardson, you got to go to jail. That's why he was like, let me get your license. Let's get this process started. That's why he's so relaxed. He already know what was going on.
I have my ID, my insurance is on my phone. There was no intention of me speeding today. I promise you, sir.
Is this a good address for you, Lake Valley?
Here, I'm local, sir. Please work with me. I promise you.
I don't know
Please
what work with you means.
Not work with me. I understand that. I will take the ticket. I will show the
No,
court.
like I told you, you're going to
Sir,
jail.
please don't allow me to go to please, sir, please.
Listen to me.
Please, sir. I really.
If nothing you say is going to change that. You are going to jail.
Am I going to jail, Jake?
Yes.
Sir.
Yes,
I really was
you're
not
going to jail.
intentionally speeding at
That's
all.
even more scary. That means that you're doing things unintentionally on a
Sir,
task that
please,
requires
please,
all
sir,
your attention.
Sir, please, please, I'm begging you.
You are going to have a little bit of time to make some phone calls. You are going to jail. I am towing your car.
Please, sir, don't take me to jail. I will do
Yes.
everything.
No.
I will do everything.
You have two options.
My tire, sir, please.
Listen, you have two options.
Please, sir.
The first option is you can either ride with me in my car.
Damn, that's loud.
The second option is you are going to go to jail in a cage car. Which do you prefer?
I promise you, I don't want to go to jail. I'm right here. I have a team here. I have a coach, everything, sir. I was not intentionally doing anything.
Was the coach following you at 100 something? Because she said she got other folks with her, and apparently her boyfriend rolled up at the end, and he ended up getting arrested too. I heard about that. So he must have got out there talking to the officer and got himself in trouble. But here's the thing. I'm gonna back it up just a little bit here. Let's just be honest about this. This woman is driving an Aston Martin. I think it's a DBX 07 is what this is called. This is a $300 and something thousand mid-size SUV. Mid-size SUV. Like, you probably can't trail or nothing with it. Functionally, it's definitely not worth $300,000. Let me be that dude for a second. Your interior ain't even that sick. Like, I don't see the nice screen with the panel on the front shit right here that I should see. I don't see all of the things that I would expect to see in a $300,000 car, because that's what that is. She is driving a that's the baseline. This probably costs more than that, depending on what she added to the damn thing. So she's got other people riding with her. So there's a good chance that she was just the one at the head of the pack, and everybody else was behind her driving fast too, being assholes too, but they saw the cop. She didn't, because she was probably up in her mirror looking to see how far behind they were. And now she's the one that's about to go to jail. But I had to freeze it on her face because she is begging this guy not to take her to jail. This officer was not being moved at all by any of the begging, the fake crying, none of this shit. He was like, look, I don't care what you say. Your ass going to jail today, and you'll get to make some calls, and this vehicle is getting impounded. And me personally, I don't trust the impound lot as it is. I definitely wouldn't trust them with a $300,000 vehicle. But here's the real question. Considering the type of trouble she's been in lately, she got arrested for domestic assault at the airport. That was in Orlando. She's now getting arrested for super speeding in Orlando. So, for lack of a better term, she kind of seems like she's starting to become a problem. She's getting into it with the law too much. And so what's going to happen is they're going to take all that shit from her. All those endorsements and all that kind of stuff. Slow down and start losing a couple races, Shacarri Richardson. They'll treat you like trash. You'll be yesterday's news and they'll be done with you. You won't get no more sponsorships, none of that. So if I were her, I would probably keep my head down for a little bit, chill out, because she's definitely been in too much trouble in the past year. I haven't heard about none of the other U.S. track team Olympians there was like a snowboarder that recently got in trouble for something. But I'm talking about the track team, the ladies track team. I haven't seen Gabby Thomas in no damn scandals. So, Miss Richardson, I'm going to need you to fall back a little bit. Enjoy this life you have. Enjoy the fact that you're able to cruise on a Florida road in a $300,000 mid-size SUV with no towing package. Just because it's an Aston Martin. That's it. There's nothing special about that vehicle to me. Not that makes it worth $300,000. I don't know what kind of tire package they have on that thing. Maybe the brake calipers are a different color. I don't give a damn. I don't see why you would spend $300,000 on this little SUV when you could just buy a Porsche. Get you a Porsche and you'll be just fine. Get you a Cayman, Macau, whatever that is. It's got to be $100,000 kind of truck. Nice truck. I've seen them. This is $300-something thousand of waste. So, Shacarri, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your money. So I'm going to need you to get it right because the freaking Olympics will be coming back soon enough. And we don't need you to be disqualified because you've been locked up for something stupid. That's all I'm saying. She definitely had a little karma coming to her because she was balling out in her $300,000 SUV and leaving everybody else in the dust. That's why everybody else didn't get arrested, but she did. So I hate to say it, but the target is on your back, Miss Richardson. You're going to be the one that gets locked up out of the whole crew because you are the star. So as they tell you in Florida, keep it under 100 and you don't have to worry about it. I'm not saying that you won't get a speeding ticket. You can still get a speeding ticket for doing 99, but you won't go to jail. Okay? So if Shacarri Richardson is around you guys anywhere, you just make sure that she gets the right sound effect. Yep. That's it. Deuteronomy. You heard me. You know what I'm talking about. The brake calipers might be a different color. I checked that truck out because when I first saw the video, I'm always interested in what people are driving, especially if they balling, because I travel fast sometimes. So I just want to know what kind of engine they're moving with, right? So I checked out this truck and looked at the price, and I was like, $300,000 for this? Like, it don't even look that good. If the Lamborghini truck looks pretty good. If you see a nice Lamborghini truck, this thing is like, it reminds me of a Mazda CX-7. So it's like a small size SUV, no room in the back. You can't fit no real family in there. Like, it's a pointless SUV. And she spent $300,000 on it. And it's probably actually hers because she has, you notice the cross hanging from the rear view. So unless she brought that with her into the rental, that's her car or one of the cars that she owns. So she has at least one $300,000 vehicle under her feet. You got to watch your step. When you got that kind of money, they will take you out if you don't do what the hell they want you to do. And right now, she's lucky because she's a cute little black girl and they'll call racism if they take everything away from her right now. But if she was some big burly dude looking like me, but had a couple endorsements, would have lost all of that by now. And they would have pegged her as crazy. I'm serious, man. Y'all don't understand. Y'all got to understand. I try to be fair to people when it comes to when you got a lot of money. Like, you can spend your money on whatever you want, but cars depreciate the second you take them off the lot. So they have to be something that you can look at for a while. This thing is ugly as shit. Y'all can look it up. The thing looks like a Aston Martin DB7 with just a heightened wheelbase, and that's it. And the DB7 is overly priced as well. I like the Aston Martin. I like the way they're designed. But I'm not $300,000 for that. No, I'll pay $300,000 for a Lambo or a Ferrari, something like that. No, let me help them. Let me help them. Since y'all want to see it. Let me show you what we're talking about here. Here we go. Can y'all see it? Let me move it over a little bit. Maybe I can move it over. Can I? Yeah. Y'all see it. All right, so this is that vehicle. Do y'all see this piece of shit? Let me move it over a little bit more for my vertical people. Just so y'all don't think I'm hating. You know what I'm saying? Just so y'all don't think I'm just generally hating on this woman because she got this vehicle. I could care less. I'm just saying the thing is ugly and it's not worth $300,000. It's not. This is $316,000. This is the cheapest one. $316,400 plus tax for this piece of crap Mazda CX-7 or whatever the hell that shit is. Now, for real, if they put this on an auction or something and, you know, they're selling it real cheap, I'd grab it for that. And then I'll tell everybody I paid full price for it. But it looks so small, it looks like I couldn't even fit in it. It looks like I couldn't even fit in this damn thing. So, nonetheless, y'all got it. This is the Aston Martin DBX 707, $300,000+ piece of shit SUV that she was doing 100 miles per hour in. So, you know what? Lock her up so she learns a small lesson. Let her ass go so we can see some more track highlights from her in her life. And maybe she'll get it together. Maybe she'll get it together and become a model citizen and that law-abiding citizen that she said she was. Maybe. But if not, oh well. Ascending, have yourself a good night. Thank you for stopping by. I'm on my last piece here anyway. So we are going to go into that and then get the hell out of here. All right. Y'all get it. Y'all get it. I just wanted to, a lot of people said she's a crash out. I don't want to call her a crash out, but she's definitely on the path to crashing out. She'll be one of them, you know, they pull her up and she's got something in the damn trunk. So at least that's not what's happened. She hasn't been caught with any drugs or been suspended over a drug program. Like she pissed dirty or something, you know? At least she didn't do that. All right, so let's just finish this thing out with the Trumpster. Because I believe the Trumpster is part of our Grammy crowd who also recently completed their yearly satanic ritual called the Grammy Awards. I did find it interesting that a lot of people that we're used to seeing there were not there this year, as if they were trying to escape something or had been warned that something else might happen that day. I don't know, but I will say this. There's definitely some absences that we need to be concerned about, okay? But before we get into all of that, why is this way back here? Oh, we got to look. Okay. All right. So, in another attempt to, I don't really know what we got here. Okay. So, while you were sleeping, Donald Julius Trump did sign another of many executive orders regarding homeless people and drug addicts. I mentioned this the other day when I was talking to my daughter because I didn't have all the info on it, but I heard that something was going on. I didn't know what was going on, but I heard that something was going on. So what they seem to have for you guys, and I say you guys, it means everybody, but what they seem to have for you guys is a new process that doesn't require as much red tape when it comes to locking up people that act crazy. I know it sounds crazy, but let me bring up this piece here. And I'll let this lady, there's some lady behind them reading some stuff. So let's go back up this way. RFK's talking.
Expanding access to.
All right. Let's bring it over because I want y'all to see what they're talking about, and then we're going to decipher what it actually means, okay?
Against deadly drugs, signing the Halt Fentanyl Act, strengthening treatment programs, expanding access to naloxone, medication-assisted treatments, and investing billions in prevention and recovery. This executive order builds on that record and accelerates.
Is President Trump? Hold on a second. Is President Trump known for bringing down the numbers of people who are addicted to drugs? I know he's known for blowing up ships that apparently had drugs in them. I know that part. He was bombing the shit out of people. And they still haven't stopped him, by the way. You know, y'all can talk all you want, but he still got like one a week. So, has there been any significant drop in the amount of fentanyl in the United States since he started blowing up ships? I don't know. I'm not a fentanyl user, so I don't know how the market is right now. But somebody will have to come back and let me know that anonymously. Because I want to know. I want to know if this process has been effective at all. Because at some point, he won't be the president anymore, and some people will feel a certain type of way about the time he was in office and either try to return to it or continue it, or try to turn it 100% around. At this point, we don't know. At this point, we don't know. So we're going to let them finish talking about this.
You know that, which is great. And
shouts to Nick Wilden stopping into the chat as well.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you so much. Your leadership today, relative to this announcement about the Great American Recovery, is a gift to all Americans who are suffering from the brain disease of addiction. I also want to thank First Lady Melania Trump for her leadership during your first administration, and now the work she's doing championing youth and children, especially related to foster care, where early trauma and instability are often consequences of the disease
All right,
of addiction.
come on, hurry up.
Addictions touch this administration in real and profound ways. President Trump, you've openly spoke about your brother Fred, whose struggle with addiction shaped your life and your understanding of this disease. And Susie Wiles carries the lived experience of her father, the late, great Pat Summerall, whose recovery journey became a source of hope for millions. Vice President Vance has shared his story of his mother's battle and recovery. And as Secretary Kennedy just said, he brings his own lived experience. Proof that recovery is not theoretical. It is.
All right, I'm going to pause it real quick because I'm going to be honest with you. Not everybody gets that kind of grace given to them when they go through an addiction. Like they're mentioning Robert Kennedy. They're talking about people that are literally in the White House having battled their own personal addictions, and they still get to work in the White House. Whereas a lot of people, if they've gone through something like that, and they got some little ass charge on their record, they can't even work at Publix or Giant or any of the stores. You see what I'm saying? Doing stock work. Like, I get what these folks are saying, but I'm looking at the faces and I'm saying, were these the dope fiends? And they're now recovered dope fiends and standing next to Donald Trump? I doubt it. I don't think they lost any ground. Just like Hunter Biden was a crackhead, everybody knows it, but he still gets news interviews as a crackhead. You know how many crackheads in Baltimore could use a couple of dollars doing an interview? So this is disingenuous to me because they're representing a group of people that they say they're comes along with being a part of that group. There's a group of people out here that can't barely. It's actually pretty freaking crazy. So nonetheless, I'll let her keep talking, but I just don't like this. I don't like it.
They reflect the reality of the over 190 million Americans, that's half our nation, who are impacted in some way by the disease of addiction. And I am one of them. I started drinking in high school, and I was a blackout drinker from the start. For 20 years, I struggled.
20-year blackout drinker, but she's standing right next to the president as the president signs an executive order for this act. Not saying that nobody can go through 20 years of being an alcoholic. What I'm saying is for most people, if you go through 20 years of being an alcoholic, by the time you come out of it on the other end, you're not going to be qualifying for no positions next to the president. Most of us. That's not even fair. Half of us can't get a job with a speeding violation. You know what I'm saying? And excessive speeding or reckless driving, which is actually a criminal charge and not a traffic charge. So most of us can't get a regular ass job with little charges like that. But this lady was a knockout drunk for 20 years and is standing next to the president and paying Bondi and them. Y'all pay attention.
Relapsing constantly.
Relapsing constantly. You hear that?
Constantly trying to stay sober and failing. I reached a point where I truly did not believe there was one single reason for me to keep living, and I was suicidal at the end of my journey.
And was suicidal.
One day I was out walking alone. I didn't have faith. I wasn't religious, but something in me said I should ask for help. And out loud to no one, because it was just me, I said, I don't know if anyone is there, but I need help. And that was the day I became sober. 15 years later, I found myself somehow standing in front of people as First Lady of North Dakota, thanks to him. But I was asking people to share their stories openly about addiction so we could eliminate the shame and stigma, so more people would reach out for help and more lives could be saved. And today, I'm standing here in this incredibly beautiful Oval Office. And if not for the grace of God, I would not be alive today with over 23 years in recovery.
Now look, I'll give it to her. Hold on. Let's give her an applause for her recovery for 23 years, okay? Yeah, who knows? Who knows? But 23 years is it's not a bad number. It's a long time.
And that's why I'm here. My message is simple: never give up hope for recovery. Mr. President, I also want to thank you for allowing me to stand here with you today. I was in this building in 2017 when the administration announced the national response to the opioid crisis. And nearly a decade later, the crisis remains, and in many ways, it has grown worse. Not because we lack compassion, not because we lack effort, but because we never fully aligned our system with the truth. Addiction is not a moral failure. It is not a character flaw, and it's not simply a behavioral issue. Addiction is a lifelong, chronic, relapsing medical disease as real as diabetes, cancer, and heart disease. And when we fail to treat it as such, we don't treat the disease, and we pay mightily for the consequences. Emergency rooms, jails, foster care, overdose deaths, and broken families. The Great American Recovery changes that. This initiative represents a fundamental shift from reaction to prevention, from fragmentation to coordination, from stigma to science, from short-term fixes to long-term recovery. And for the first time, we're aligning federal leadership across health, justice, labor, housing, veterans, social services, the faith office, and education around one single shared truth.
Well, what is
when
that
addiction
truth?
is treated early and correctly, people recover and families heal. Addiction is a generational disease, and if we don't treat it properly, it repeats from parent to child, from community to community.
All right, I get it. So let's diagnose this real quick. The Great American Recovery Initiative was launched by an executive order about 3 days ago. It is the primary federal initiative to address drug addiction, aiming to coordinate a national response to the addiction crisis. Led by the HHS, it focuses on prevention, treatment, and recovery, and is supported by a $100 million investment. So they put in $100 million into prevention. So what is drug prevention? Like, what does that actually mean? Stopping drugs from being there to be purchased? Because that's what prevention seems like to me. So under that prevention rule, that would be blowing up drug ships. So he's probably like, hey, that's part of what I'm working on. But it says there's a targeted approach. So we're targeting families and addicts who are still addicted. All right. Let me bring it back, because this is what most addicts need when they do finally clean up. They need their records expunged. They need them little dumbass possession charges or paraphernalia charges or anything like that. All that stuff needs to be gone. And I mean gone. Like, not something that you got to bring up when you try to work somewhere. Like, literally off your record. Maybe if we take that $100 million investment and start pushing some of that into not making people pay $90 per expungement in order to get things off their record that they might have done 25, 30 years ago. See, these are the real problems. When some of these folks are trying to live their later lives, their 40, 50, 60s, and they're trying to get jobs, they're talking to these recruiters about some shit that happened when they were 22, that they may have even forgotten that they did. And these people are bringing up all types of stuff. And if you don't have $90 per expungement, depending on what state you're in, it's $90 in certain states, but I'm sure it could be more, then those things just stay on your record. And then the next time you get a job, you got to remind yourself, hey, I need to take this $90 or this $150 and expunge that thing. Then you got to wait 6 to 8 weeks for it to process, another 90 days or so for it to be finalized within the system. But the second you get arrested, that should be in the system like that. Shit, the Shacarri Richardson video we just found was released the day after she got arrested. I've never seen a body cam video released that fast in my life. The day after she got arrested, that thing was already public. But if she was to catch a charge, it takes her a year and some change and at least $90 to get that shit off her record. So I want to support what the Trump administration is talking about because I have my own feelings about addiction and I've had my own struggles. So if it's coming from a good place where they're trying to add additional funding to, like recovery houses and all of that, or are they going to try to build federal recovery houses where you can get all types of federal money in there, you can get all types of weird ass experimental drugs in there, and say that it's for the course of mankind? That can happen. So we're going to have to see where this goes. But I will say this. If they could at least etch some of this out into clearing up people's criminal records for minor offenses, especially nonviolent minor offenses. Drug possession. You had a dime bag in your pocket of whatever. You know what I'm saying? And that was 10 years ago. That is where they should be putting that money. Clear people's records up because you want everybody working. You want to put these work requirements on folks, but then you're allowing employers to be assholes about stuff that people don't even do anymore. It's almost like you're haunting them for the rest of their life. So President Trump, Catherine Burgum, RFK, everybody that's in this shot, Pam Bondi, I still think Pam Bondi be drinking. I don't care what nobody says. Pam Bondi be drinking. But you're allowed to drink. I'm just saying, Pam Bondi be taking a sip at 5 p.m. every day. But think about this for real. Like, yeah, we're going to have all this extra federal money for something, but the focus area is trying to reduce overdose deaths, which that's only one part of the problem, is people using too much that they're about to pass away. So that's what they're focused on, is trying to basically flood the streets with Narcan. Trump will probably invest in Narcan itself so he can make some money off of the streets being, flooded with it. They'll still let people get the new fentanyls and the new cocaines that'll get them all higher. And then what'll happen after that is he'll try to come through and resolve the problem by blowing up ships that apparently have all that stuff on there. But I'm telling you right now, I don't think the market changed at all. That means that none of them ships really had the bulk. The bulk was coming across in cars or on people's backs. I'm not sure where, how, or why, but them ships were not the pipeline. Because if that was the case, the pipeline would be messed up right now. And it's not. People still getting high and dying every single day. And so Trump put out this executive order. We're going to see if they actually deal with the problem that happens from drug addiction. But it's the lasting effects that I want them to deal with. It's not just the acute effect of an overdose. That happens, but that's not the larger issue. The larger issue is when people come out of a recovery program and they're trying to get their lives together, they don't have anybody helping them clear that shit up that they did before. And then for the rest of their lives, they now have to answer for something that they did when they were in their 20s. And they're like 40 something years old at this point. And they'll still bring it up and they'll still pay you less because of it. So Trump, I will say this. I appreciate the fact that there is some focus on this because it is a problem. There is a drug problem in the United States, but more importantly, there is a life problem that happens after you get off the drugs. You know what I'm saying? Shouts to, what is it, Anna F. Chowdhury, 9342, said that I look like Neil deGrasse Tyson did a while ago. I've never heard that before, But I will say this, Neil deGrasse Tyson is not an idiot, and he's got some good money in his pocket, and I haven't seen him involved in any scandals messing with the damn babies. So I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess I could look like worse people than that. Now, granted, I don't consider him to be like the good-looking dude, but I'm saying his lifestyle, his intellect, admirable. And if I had to be somebody, there's a lot worse people that I could be compared to. So thank you. Thank you, Anna F. Chowdhury, for your compliment, I guess I'll call it. Because, yeah, you're calling me a genius, what is it, a freaking rocket scientist? Isn't he a rocket scientist? So you calling me a genius rocket scientist? Oh my gosh. What? Me? Little old me? No, I'm just fucking playing with you. All right, so nonetheless, let me bring it back and let me close it out. Because I think we need to just address the elephant in the room here. Because recently, everybody knows that they did another Epstein Files dump. And my question was, what is this distracting from? And I figured out what the distraction was. But I thought it was a government distraction. I didn't know that it was a private distraction. The distraction that it was steering us away from paying attention to is the merger, and I don't even know if you want to call it that, between SpaceX and XAI. Now, I'm no business mind. So me personally, I don't understand how you can have two separate businesses and now they're merging. You're the owner of both, so they already should be under one umbrella. But what they're doing right now is they're literally going to monopolize what I call Skynet. They'll be able to control data centers that aren't even here on the planet, and they'll use security as the reason why. So that's why you've been seeing all these outages and things going offline, is because what's going to happen is they're going to say, hey, that wouldn't happen if we put this data center in space. And so Elon's going to take his SpaceX penis-shaped rockets, and he's going to shoot those penises up into the air, and they're going to bust off a little something into space. And we won't be able to touch it. Won't be able to hack, at least not with a vampire tap or some physical hack. You won't be able to connect to those things the same way. And you'll have to have Starlink in order to get a real connection anyway. So he's about to monopolize. And that's why he wasn't really pissed off when Trump was talking about eliminating the EV mandate. You notice Elon did not trip. And I said, why is he not tripping? His whole thing is about electric cars and things like that. He didn't trip, not even a little bit. Remember, he was right behind Donald Trump when he did the inauguration. And he was the Doge leader and all of this. You think he didn't know all of this was going on? Of course he knows all of this is going on. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, he's telling Trump, hey, Donnie, I'm getting ready to merge these two companies. Why don't you go ahead and throw up a little investment so that you can get a pay return when I link these two companies up? You think Donald Trump didn't do that? You think his millionaire friends didn't do that? All of the millionaire people are making money, even if you don't know the organizations. Like some of you know SpaceX, some of you know XAI, some of you know Palantir. That's another one. Don't think I forgot none of y'all. I'm watching all of these suckers because I see what's going on. And at the end of the day, I just want to make sure that everybody's keeping it copacetic. Some people are going to make money. Some people are going to not make money. Some people are going to be broke. That's just the world. But you don't have to step on the broke people because you got money. And that's what I worry about with them changing things that they're doing for addicts. If you're not eliminating people's criminal records, you're not really helping them that much, because you'll leave them connected to the shit that they did when they were addicts. So even if they get clean, you're not helping them that much. So until you roll that into it, I don't want to hear shit about you helping the addicts, because they still out here getting high and dying every day. And there's a bunch of them that recover and never get to live again, because you got people looking up dumbass little charges that they had 15 years ago so they can work in trash and sanitation. and you want to tell them you had a bag of weed on you 12 years ago, you can't possibly take out trash. That's stupid. That's totally dismissing an entire workforce that actually will be more grateful that somebody gave them a job. But y'all ain't trying to hear that. That's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother purge. But we have enjoyed what we did today. And I'm glad that we came together to ask the question regarding our Hollyweird folks, and if this is just a yearly satanic ritual that goes on around this time of year, and we lose a couple more masculine men every year when they get their booty pushed in. I think that's what happens. I think that down at the Grammys, they pushing in booties. You know what I'm saying? And I don't like to think about it like that, but I feel like after the show is over, booties get pushed in. People be at the tables talking about it. Hey, man, when this is over with, I'm in room 515. You know what I'm saying? So nonetheless, special shouts to everybody that stopped by, because you guys are the best crowd. I know YouTube tried to throttle us last month, and they let us come back. It was rough. I was on emails every day, and now we're back to being able to actually post again and live stream again. So, with that being said, because this is Tuesday, make sure y'all come back for another Purge the BS on Thursday. I'm not sure if I'm going to make it a daytime show that day, because it's tough doing the late night shows, because I'll be tired, man. I'm old now. I want to go to sleep. But this is the easiest time of day to get online. And in way more possible at this point. Frederick, you know what I'm talking about. Nobody's going to tell me that nobody's booty gets pushed in after the Grammys every year. Some people don't even see each other till the Grammys. So they'll remember the year before and they'll be like, I pushed in such and such booty, and they're going to try to do it again. That's why that whole situation is the way it is. That's why they be devil worshiping. And it's funny because they be devil worshiping and somebody will be like, up there like, I want to thank God and the gays. And it's like, wait a second. In the same sentence? That's how we're going to present that, huh? Okay. Just saying, some things don't belong in the same sentence. Could have just, But anyway, special shouts to Frederick Fumble Finn for jumping into the chat. Special shout to, of course, Purple Groovy, one of my favorite mods in there. I Am Z, who stopped in as well, another one of my favorite mods. Let's see who else we had here. We had Anna F. Chowdhury. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly, but if I'm not, it's cool. It's late, and I'm not supposed to pronounce it correctly because I'm me, and sometimes I make mistakes. So, Anna, you get, or it could be Anna. There's an H in there, Anna. So, anyway, Anna, special shouts to you. Nick Wilden, special shouts to you. And, of course, Ascending Phoenix, who had stopped in a little bit earlier, special shouts to you. And who else did we have in here initially? Randall Beck. If you're still in here, special shouts to you for stopping by on the YouTube side as well. I'm trying to make sure if I have anybody from, Deuteronomy 8:18. Shouts to you. James Morgan, that's right, I almost forgot about that. James Morgan, shouts to you as well for stopping in. And a special shout to Silversmith Live, Chef Roast and Gag, which is a cool name, and Johnny Be Good 316. All right. So that looks like that's everybody that stopped through today on the YouTube side. Oh, nope. Sorry. There was Kringus Bingus. You get a shout as well. And who else we got here? Shadow to Love. Man, there's a lot of people in here today. Thank y'all for coming in, man. I appreciate it because this was a tough one because we were supposed to have Instagram and Facebook as well. So shouts to all the people that came in on the Twitch side. Special shouts to all the people that came in on the X side, and a super duper shout to everybody that came in on the YouTube side. And I will see you guys on Thursday. You make sure that you hit the notification bell. Make sure you hit the like. Make sure you show back up, because if you're not here on Thursday, then that, my friends, is the bullshit. And we are out of here. Peace.